Good morning. So it's been a very long time since I jumped on YouTube, and I was actually talking to one of my friends at uni who I found out also has a YouTube channel. We were just talking about how we both love just capturing memories, and we both haven't done it in a while, and it got me thinking that I should probably start uploading some videos because I absolutely love rewatching my old YouTube videos, and it makes me kind of sad that I have no videos from when Amos and I started dating or were engaged or got married or anything like that. So I want to try and get a little bit back into it. I am quite busy, so no guarantees, but Alessi is already 3 months old now, and I just want to try and sit down and try and remember as much as I can because time is going so quickly, and I want to be able to look back on some things and have her to be able to look back on some things too. So she is exactly 3 months old today. It's the 25th, and she is just so big. I was rewatching some of the birth little clips that we've got, and she looks nothing like she did. And I just want to kind of tell the story of how it went. It went better than I could have imagined, honestly. Like, I've heard so many different stories of people whose birth did not go as they planned, and they get a bit disappointed and then felt a bit pressured into certain things. That, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of what I thought would happen because I was quite set on having a very natural birth, and it just seemed a little bit too good to be true from what I'd heard from a lot of people, but I did actually get my wish, so I'm very grateful for that. Well, to a degree. It wasn't completely natural, I guess, because I was induced, so great start to the story. I was getting some scans because I stayed quite small my whole pregnancy, and people were starting to get a little bit worried, thinking that the baby wasn't growing. She started off in one scan at like the 50th centile. However, in that scan, they had changed her due date to be a week back because of her size. So she was originally due on the 25th of April, but then they changed my due date to the 2nd of May. In a scan that with the due date for the 2nd of May, she was smack on 50th centile, which means you're a straight average size baby. And then I had another scan, and then she dropped down to like 40th, and then I had another one, she dropped down to like 30th. Like, it just kept going down until at one point she was in the 8th centile, which anything below 10 they start to get a bit worried about. So they were monitoring her, and then they were like, okay, well, it's completely up to you, but we would be recommending that you get induced a week early, which was technically not a week early, it was technically her due date. My midwife was very for me having a natural birth and everything, and she was like, every time I would freak out about things with Alessi's size, she'd just be like, no, you're a small person, Amos isn't that big either, like it would be completely expected for you to have a small baby. Like, she was very, very good, and I'm so grateful for her. Then it just got to a point where I was getting really stressed about it, so then we just made the decision to get induced on the 25th of April. Went in on the 24th, the night before, and they did the balloon catheter.
Amos, let me take one.
Stop it. You're not taking anything. Just gotta relax, and we're gonna get to the hospital, we're gonna be fine.
Are you stressed?
I'm not stressed at all.
So what they do is they basically put like a balloon thingy up there, and it just helps soften the cervix and prepare your body. That's what started the contraction. So it was really funny because my brother had like all his mates over on that night. They were all playing games, being really loud. I come back from the hospital really uncomfortable with this thing up there. Like, the contractions had started, and they were definitely uncomfortable. It was funny though, because I didn't expect it to happen that quickly, but it did. They were all there, and I was just trying to act normal because they're like teenage boys. I didn't want to be weird about it, so I was just sitting on the couch, just in pain, trying not to be too obvious about it. Anyway, went to bed, uncomfortable. Eventually fell asleep and had a pretty decent sleep, I will say, once I did fall to sleep. I was sleeping in my other brother Zach's room because we had just moved up to Brisbane, and I was at the Gold Coast Hospital, and I loved my midwife, so I wanted to stay with her. So we actually stayed at my mum's the night before Alessi was born. So we took over my brother's bed and he slept on a mattress on the floor. Thanks, Zach. And woke up at like 5 AM, went to the hospital. Can't remember exactly how it went, but there was the breaking of the waters, which was insane. Amos was starstruck at how much water came in. It felt so interesting, like I can't even explain it. It just feels like you're constantly wetting your pants and you have no control over it.
All right, so we're chilling here in the hospital room. There's all the monitors and stuff like that. You know, it's been pretty rough on me, really. You know, I've got my recliner and I've, you know, had to ask for a warm blanket because, you know, the room's pretty cold. But Katie's doing really well. She's got a bunch of these things strapped to her, you know.
Checking my contractions.
Yeah.
The baby's heart rate.
Yeah. And
I keep peeing myself.
Yeah, when they broke her water, it just gushed out.
Amos's face was like...
Yeah, because it was like, it was just an eruption of water and blood, and I was just like, I've never seen anything like that before. Like, it was insane. And then the nurse looks at me like, oh, wait till the baby comes out. I'm like, duh. Jeez. But yeah, that's a little update of where we are right now.
Had a balloon in last night.
Yeah.
It was a painful night to say the least.
Yeah.
That's early contractions, so I'm scared for the rest of it.
What else is there? Just, and I guess that's where we'll end this little segment. Goodbye.
They put the oxytocin. We had a student nurse because it was the Gold Coast University Hospital, and she didn't really know how to insert the catheter, and I think I got pricked like 5 times before I got in, and the actual midwife inserted it and got it straight away. And I've always been told that my veins are really easy to find. Then the contractions started happening immediately, and I thought it would be a lot slower because even the midwife said like it'll be quite gradual. Let's just preface and say my active labor was 2.5 hours long and I pushed for half an hour, so it was very quick. And we got there at like 6 or 7 a.m. and were out of the hospital by 6 p.m. He was born at 2 p.m. or 2:32 p.m. she was born at. I went in with the plans to do a completely natural water delivery because I've heard that the water birth, it relaxes your muscles a lot, which obviously the contractions are caused from your muscles tensing up a lot. So I've heard that it helps relieve the pain a lot in a natural way. So that was the plan. The midwives thought that I would be delivering her at about midnight that night, so I'd be in there the whole day. And they told me that something to do with like if you get in and out of the water, it goes cold and you can't refill it at a certain point of the labour. I can't remember exactly the details because I was obviously in labour. I'm not taking in a whole lot of information, just trying to focus on getting through it. And they said that we would fill up the bath later on when I'm getting like more intense contractions and whatnot. They told us to go into the shower for a little bit and they told us to go into the shower for a little bit and just put it on my back to help relieve some of the low back muscles because they tense up a lot. Anyway, so we did that. Amos was putting it on my back and I was a very angry, pregnant, in labour person, and when he'd put it in the wrong spot that wasn't relieving the pain, I would get a bit snappy at him. So that was thing number 1 that I did to him. Sorry, Amos. We were in there for probably about half an hour, and when we came out, like, I just had this thing about I felt like I was wasting too much water. So when we came out, the midwives were like, oh, that wasn't long, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to get out. So then I went on the exercise ball, and that was when the contractions started getting really intense. And I'm sure it was a mixture of the progression of the labour as well as not having the water to help relax me. I think it was probably both. But they were getting like unbearable. Like I did not want anyone to touch me. I didn't really want anyone to talk to me. And I was just kind of wiggling on the ball, like just trying to find some way to help relax my muscles. There was this one point, this was thing number 2 that I did to Amos, where he comes up to me. They've just brought in lunch or something. I don't fully remember it because I was in my own zone. And it was like that hospital curry. He was hungry because we hadn't really eaten. We didn't really bring food. We just brought like snacks and drinks. He ate some of it, and then he comes up to me and he's like, good job, babe, you're doing a great job, and like right in my face. And I was like already feeling so nauseous because the contractions were very intense and I was already feeling like I was gonna throw up. And when he came up to me and breathed that in my face, it just made me feel so sick. And I just look over at him and I'm like, don't breathe curry in my face, like really angrily. And he's just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Then he walks off, tries to like scull some coconut water because he doesn't want the nurses to know he ate the curry. It's like right at that point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I never want to have another baby. I need an epidural. It's the same thing happened when we went skydiving and I tried to pull out of it. He just kept like being like, oh yeah, just get through this. Like, we'll just wait till they finish talking and then we'll go and ask them about getting the baby. Like, he just kept procrastinating it, and that's what he did with the epidural. Because he knew that I didn't want it either, and he didn't really want me to have it either. And then they like come in and they bring in the gas, and I'm like, I don't know how this helps. So I tried it for a bit. It didn't really do anything for me. Like, it did not relieve the pain at all, except it gave me the jitters, which made things kind of worse. But then I was like, I have to get up onto the bed. Oh no, I think they told me that I had to get up onto the bed. There we go. Anyway, so they told me to get up onto the bed, and I was like, I literally can't. Like, it hurts so bad. I shouldn't say hurts, because I always tell people, like, I feel like pain and hurting isn't really the right way for me personally to describe labor. It was more like an endurance thing, like kind of running a marathon. Like, running a marathon isn't painful, it's just exhausting, and that's kind of what labor was for me. But I don't know why they needed me to get onto the bed, but they did, and they tried to put me on my back, and my body was just rejecting it. I literally could not lay on my back. It just, my body did not want to, so I was just on all fours, and then my body just started just quickly. So my midwife that I was talking about before, I actually had a different midwife at the start of the labor because of like the way their shifts work. They can't work for longer than a certain amount of time, so they usually have a different midwife for the first half, and then they bring the other midwife in either at a certain time or when they think your labor's getting more serious and you're about to start pushing, because I wanted my midwife there for when Alessi came out. So Amos was telling the midwives, oh, like, it's getting quite serious, like I think that she's probably going to be coming out soon. We should probably call, I'm not going to say her name, but we should probably call the midwife to come over soon. And the other midwives are just like, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea. Hi, Alessi. Then my body just started pushing. Like, I literally could not control it. Like, it just naturally, she was just coming out. So I was on all fours, and I just feel like the need to push, and like I can't do anything about it because they were telling me not to push, and I was like, I have to, like my body is just doing it. So then she started coming out. It was so cool. Amos was like, everyone asks Amos how he was so excited. He was literally running back and forth in the room. He was also videoing it, which I obviously won't put those clips in it because they're very graphic, but yeah, it's very graphic. You don't ever want to see them. But I'll try to see what I can put in. It was like just so much pressure, and it got to a point where, like, I don't know, for some reason I didn't think pushing would take that long. I thought it would be quick. And I know there's some people that push a baby out like in 5-10 minutes, and then there's other people that are like hours or more. Mine was half an hour, so not too bad. But I just thought that when the time to come, when it was to start pushing, I thought that it wouldn't be that long. And I just, so how it works is it's kind of like she starts to come out as the muscles loosen, and then she goes back in, and it's just this constant like come out a bit, go back in a bit, come out a bit, go back in a bit. And I just got to a point where I was like, I think because I'm small, she can't come out. Like, I think I'm too small for this, which is so stupid. I don't know why I thought this, but I was literally saying, I don't think she fits. And they're like, it's all good, she does, like, just keep pushing, you're doing a great job. And that made me so annoyed when they kept telling me you're doing a great job and stuff, because I did not feel like I was doing a great job, because it just felt like she kept going back up. And they just kept telling me that, and I'm like, stop telling me I'm doing a good job, I'm not. Anyway, eventually she came out, and like her head was just hanging out, which was so cool to see, because they had like a mirror beneath, and I could like look at it. Head was the hardest part to get out, and then as soon as her head came out, it was just a simple like one push, and she was just fell out, which was so cool to see.
Katie, you did it! You did it! You did it! That's our baby. Oh, Alessi.
It was just like the craziest feeling, and just like the moment that like she came out and she, like I was like holding her, and it was just like the minute she touched me, I was just like, I could do that again, over and over again. Like, I just forgot about everything that I'd just been through. And it was so cool because it just amazed me how that baby was literally in my stomach. And also, she wasn't even as small as they thought. She was 3.095 kilos, which is 38th centile. So she wasn't that far below average.
That happens really quickly.
She looks like my dad.
And then she came out and she was just looking around at everything, like she was eyes wide open from the minute she came out, just trying to take everything in, and she's been like that ever since. She just doesn't like to be cuddled, she just likes to look around.
Yeah, she's a real kicker.
Right there?
Yes.
She is alive!
It was the coolest experience ever. I'm very excited to have more babies and bring more life into this world because it was just so exciting and she's so fun.
But I'm going to be driving very carefully. Alessi's first drive! Babe, we're freaking parents! What the heck? Alright, this will be the most careful drive of my life.
You'll be fine. She's just a baby.
It's just a baby.
She's been through enough trauma today.
But yeah, that's my birth story in a nutshell. I'm so glad that it went the way it did. Hope you guys have a lovely day. See ya!